Hey, good morning. We're going to do this fun painting of New York City. I apologize. I don't, one of my students gave me that photo and there's no signature on it, so I don't know who the artist was. But anyway, we're just going to have fun with it. I'm starting by painting the sky a little bit of a rose color, just to give it a little bit of a texture, a little color, a little vibration against the buildings. All right, so we'll put the buildings in. Now we're going to do the whole shape of all the buildings and the street, the cars and everything. And I'm using Windsor blue with a touch of cadmium red in there. And it's very light, keeping it light. Keep that edge sharp on that building. There's a tower here in the middle. I have the camera closed up, so we're in tight to the painting. I'll back off later on so you can see the whole painting, but I want you to just see, just have fun with this. This is really a fun painting to do. It gives you an opportunity to be very loose and juicy. Use a big brush. Try to do a bigger painting than you normally do, maybe a full sheet. It's really fun, and you'd enjoy it. So big shapes. You can see I'm doing a little bit of horizontal work there, just touching. These are buildings in the background, so it's just a little texture. Don't try to do, we're not trying to paint windows and doors and all that stuff, just big shapes, okay? Windsor blue with a touch of cadmium red. Horizontal strokes here to show, the building, the layers, the floors and the towers and so forth. So we're working from back to front, very light wash in the back. You can use a towel here if you want to create more texture, So just bring it down. I added obviously more color here. Same colors, Windsor blue, a little bit of cadmium red. You can see the red there. All right, we just notice now as you do each layer, each value change brings these buildings closer and closer to you, and at the same time simultaneously pushes those towers back. Okay, so we're creating this really beautiful depth in the buildings, in the streets. So just come right down, go right over the cars. You don't have to paint around them, just like I say, just have fun with it, So you're just getting these shapes, and you did the light layer of color. And if you want, you could let that dry, give it a spray, and then you came in with some darker colors. Now we're doing even darker colors. These same colors, Windsor blue with cadmium red, and you could, make the value, it's just a darker value. See these horizontal strokes creating the floors in the tower, the floors in the building. And you could just let it run, just have fun with it. We'll do some on the other side now. Just darker values. Now you can see what I'm going to do here is just go across. With these buildings are obviously closer than the tower in the back. You can see that, and that's what you're working with here. And I'm just going to bring that all the way down to the bottom of the paper. Okay, so you can see, how it's beginning to look like a cityscape. You get the buildings in the back and the darker buildings in the front. You can take a towel here and just lift off some shapes, maybe street lights, some reflections in the buildings up top. All right, it's all dry now, so we're going to put I'm going to put the cars in. Now this is a darker value. This is ultramarine blue with quinacridone sienna, and I'm pushing it a little bit towards the blue so it's a little cooler. And what we're doing here is we're just going to draw a bunch of cars going across the street. Some of them are much closer than others, so they're basically blocks, and they have tires on them, and then they have a shadow underneath. The shadow underneath is very important to really give it the effect. Don't worry about the windows and all that. I'm going to paint over those, and I'm using using a little bit of the Windsor blue there on the windshields. Again, have fun with this. This is really, you know, interesting to do. You know, so we have this kind of a Volkswagen bus here. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. You get these nice diagonal lines. There's a shadow underneath that, and there's another small one on the right. So you can see how the cars are in the front and the back, and see the diagonal lines I put on the sides. It really draws you in, you know. All right, we're putting another layer of buildings that are in front of those, and you can see I pushed it a little more towards the blue. It's still dark. It's still Windsor blue, cadmium red, give you that nice, and you can make them as dark as you want, just going down. So you can see these horizontal strokes again, giving you the effect of a building, you know, of a bunch of stories in the building. All right, I'm bringing that down. I'm leaving a little bit of the tops of the cars where the light may be hitting it. All right, you can see on the right here, again, much darker. And you see on the side of the building how I gave it a little bit of a slant to show, you know, perspective, a little bit of distance on the building, a little corner. Just work your way up. You don't have to be careful here, you know, just enjoy it. Let it all kind of come together. It's really a lot of fun to do these. It's so good for you, you know. You're not doing, you know, you're not making anything, you know, picture perfect here. We're just enjoying it. We're having fun with it. Bunch of horizontal strokes, making it look like a, you know, the stories in a building. Again, get that straight line. So this building is just in front of the other one, going all the way across. That little diagonal sends you right into. All right, there's some more buildings here. Just work your way across. And what you're doing is you're bringing these values, that dark value of the cars, closer to the lighter values of the building, you know, so you're making it, you know, you're making it work. I'm going in the back here and just touching up that building, making the value a little bit darker. Not trying to paint any, you know, any windows or doors or anything. I'm just making some shapes, and you can see how it works. You know, it really works. A lot of fun. All right, I'm going to go over the street here, and this is the same colors. Very wet, very, very wet. Let it run down. Even give it a little spray if you want. You want that running down. We're going to put the headlights here. This is gouache. I use just white gouache with a touch of red. You don't want it too white, so I just add a little color to it. You could use orange if you want. So you're putting the lights on the cars, the headlights, and then you're putting a drop on the street where it's reflecting that, because it's all wet. The street is wet, so the reflections will come down and it'll give you a nice look. It gives it motion, gives a feeling of movement in the painting. All right. Okay. Put a little sign on top of that car. Just touch it up, you know, add little pieces here and there. Putting a sign in here. I'll make it Make it a little more red. Okay, I'm giving you a close-up here of what it looks like. So I'm going in now with a much darker color. This is ultramarine blue with quin sienna. It's really, really dark, and I'm adding some dark to the front of the cars here. Just giving you a nice close-up of that. So go right across with your cars and, you know, get them nice and dark. Put some dark shapes here. You know, it's so dark in there, you can't tell what it is, but you're making these building shapes and shapes of signs and door fronts and, you know, maybe people crossing with an umbrella or, you know, whatever you want. But see how it blends into that background, and that's what you're trying to do. Okay, really trying to get that motion of the cars, a little darker underneath the cars there. All right. Another layer of buildings in the background, maybe a sign here and there, a truck coming by, poles. You know, you don't have to define everything. It's just these beautiful, beautiful shapes. One darker than the other, bringing it all forward. Put a little bit of a walk. This is gouache again. Just putting some walk lines there. Little pieces of, you know, reflective light, a lamp post, whatever. Just add it in there. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you had fun with it. You know, don't try to do a picture-perfect painting here, but just enjoy it. Like I say, have fun and work with the values. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon.